Assalamualaikum. My name is Alifa Ilana binti Rusman. So in this video, I'll be explaining about the instructional language and its element in use of language, especially in giving instruction, classroom questioning strategies, managing behavior, and giving oral and written feedback in the classroom. All of my collected samples and selected relevant samples of the element in use of language in giving instruction, classroom questioning strategies, managing behavior, and giving oral and written feedback in the classroom can be accessed through the e-portfolio using this QR code to the book creator that I have prepared. So the content of my explanation will include about the samples in giving instruction, classroom questioning strategies, managing behavior, giving oral and written feedback, and how all of these elements relevant to the Malaysia classroom. So before we dive deeper into each of the elements, so what are instructional language? So instructional language is actually a specific language used by teachers to give direction, instruction, and explain tasks and also manage learning activities. It guides student understanding and throughout the lesson. It includes words, phrases, and expression that help students to know what to do and how to do it and what is expected of them. Instructional language became a vital tool, especially in the ESL classroom. Why? Because it is a tool that supports the students' understanding, learning, and classroom management, especially because students are mostly learning English and also learning content of the English at the same time. So, how is instructional language often or commonly used is first by giving a clear instruction where teacher use a simple and direct English to tell the student what they should do in the classes. Next, we have modeling language where teachers demonstrate how to say or do something correctly in the class. The third one is checking understanding, where instructional language is used to make sure students got the instruction correctly and understood it better. And next one, we have scaffolding and guiding learning, where teachers give a small language support to help students to complete their tasks. And next, we have managing the classroom, where teachers use consistent language to control behavior and routine. And lastly, it is encouraging and for the purpose of giving feedback where teacher use a positive and supportive phrases to motivate student in learning. Now let us dive into the first element of language in use, which is giving instruction in the classroom. So for my first sample of the video, I choose a YouTube video from the teacher room series that provide an essential strategies and technique for teacher to follow so that they can ensure their classroom instruction are effective and easily understood by student. So this video focuses on helping teacher to prevent student confusion and disorganized class during activity by sharing a practical tips, including first, simplify the language where teacher must use easy and simple language and keeping the sentence short and cutting out any extra information. Next, we have keep it brief and chunk, where instruction must always be short and sweet. Break down multi-step instruction into manageable part, which we call bite-sized chunk for the students. Next, we have check comprehension, where by using instruction checking question, or also known as ICQ, it can effectively determine if the student have understood the important step of the activity or not. So this question should require short answer and not just a yes or no from the students. Next, we have model the task, where by giving an example or a demonstration of the instruction, it can support the lesson using gesture and also non-verbal sign. The next one, we have be consistent, where by using the same terminology for the recurring activities, it can help students to become more familiar with the teacher instruction over the time. And lastly, we have gain attention, where every teacher must ensure that everyone is listening to the lesson and try to get the pulse of the class before starting to give the instruction to the students. So all these strategies are designed to help teacher to deliver the instruction in a clear and more comprehensible way for all students. My next sample for giving instruction element is from the blog that titled 10 tips for giving and checking instruction in an ESL classroom, which offer practical advice for teachers to ensure the activity runs smoothly and that students clearly understand what it is expected of them. So here are some of the top tips summarized from the article or blog. First, teacher must get their full attention before starting the class. And next, we have teacher must plan their instruction ahead of time so they can decide exactly how they want to deliver the instruction. Next, we have keep instruction clear and concise by using a short, simple language that appropriate for your students. The next one, we have use signposts where we must break tasks into a clear step by using sequences like first, second, and third. The next one, we have use nonverbal cues where to support our words or in the instruction by using gesture or mime, it can help the pupils or students to understand the instruction better. We also have be explicit and don't assume that the student might know the things. Where we must always give reminder about activity rules, even for a familiar task, so that to avoid assumption about students' memory or previous knowledge. Next, we have stage longer instruction where for complex activity, break the instruction into smaller stages by explaining the first step and checking the understanding so that they can understand the instruction much more better. The last one, we have use English as much as possible. Give instruction in English wherever possible and phasing out the use of the student first language over time, which is minimize their the first language in the classroom. Now we move on to the classroom questioning strategies. So my first sample for the classroom's questioning strategies is from the article titled Questioning in the Classroom, How to Improve Your Skill from the IRIS Connect blog that explain the dual role of questioning in the classroom first to check for understanding and to invite deeper dialogue and also to provide 3 step and 10 specific strategies for teachers to improve their questioning skills. So for the 3 steps to improve questioning skill is first, you must reflect on your current practice, where teachers should be honest on assessing their current habits such as their ratio of high order versus low order question and the amount of wait time they offer for their student. The third one, we have gained a deeper understanding of the question and how to use them by studying concepts like Bloom's taxonomy, or it can encourage a wider use of language like summarizing, explaining, and also provide support for students to extend their answer. The third one, we have developed a classroom culture that welcome all mistake. This can create an environment where students do not have to worry and they will be more confident about how their answer will be received because viewing their mistake as opportunity for further learning. And the 10 effective questioning strategies listed in the blog is first, questioning monitor. Second one is hinge point question. Third one is Socratic questioning. Fourth is tongues. Fifth is key question as a learning objective. Six is if this is the answer, what is the question? And seven is just one more question. And eight is pause, pounce, and bounce. Nine is question continuum. And the last one is the question wall. So that is all the 10 effective question strategy listed from this blog. My next sample for classroom questioning strategy is from a video titled Great Ideas Questioning Strategies from the Bell Foundation. It is about using effective questioning technique to make sure the lesson is accessible and motivating for all learners, especially those that are learning English. So this video break down effective questioning into 4 key stages. First, we have planning the question, where teachers should always be careful to plan and design questions that directly support the learning goals and build the knowledge in a logical order. Next, we have asking the question, where this stage focuses on how and to whom questions are posed to. The third one, we have supporting learner with responding, where learner often need various type of support to articulate their responses and answers. The fourth one and lastly, we have replying to learners' answer, where effective teacher often replies that would be able to move learning forward by stretching academic thinking and also the language that was used. And this video also notes that effective questioning is an important strategy that can lead to a significant progress in a school year, which can help increase the students' long-term memory and also their deeper thinking skill. Now we move on to the third element, which is managing behavior. So for my first sample for managing behavior is from article titled Managing Behavior in the Classroom for Young Learners from Hong Kong TESOL. It argues that rewards and punishment often fail because they treat the symptom, not the cause of the misbehavior itself. So this blog identify the 3 common root causes by the causes of misbehavior in language classes and it provides a strategies for teacher to manage each one. So the three route that we that was listed from this plot is first, attention. Some students misbehave because they crave attention, and even negative attention is better than being ignored totally. So the solution to this problem is often to ignore the misbehavior and praise the positive behavior more. So that it will encourage the students to do more positive behavior over time. The third one, we have boredom, where students misbehave when they are not challenged and are waiting around or have nothing to do. And punishment cannot be a remedy for boredom because it will only make the situation escalate. So the solution for this problem is but to design activities that involve all students all the time and that are interesting for them. And the third one, we have control, where children often have little control over their day, and if they cannot exert control positively, they will try to exert it negatively by shouting out or refusing to participate in the activities that the teacher was holding in the class. So to solve this problem, teacher can give away small choices to maintain control over the big thing to the pupils. So there are the three root causes that was listed in this blog. So my second sample is from a video from Edutopia titled Research Back Strategy for Better Classroom Management, which identify common misbehavior source and seek strategies that teachers should use instead of common mistakes that was often made in this classroom. So for the source of misbehavior, first we have it often stems from first boredom or restlessness from the student, and next we have seeking attention from peers, and also struggling with issue at home or a behavior disorder, and also academic frustration, where it explained that 20% of misbehavior uh, came from academic frustration from the uh, students' part. So what are we have? It also listed the seed research back strategies that we can use to counter this problem. First, teacher must look for pattern to identify this source, where instead of relying on a single strategy, we must look for many patterns in the misbehavior to find the solution to that problem. And next, we have highlight positive conduct, which we can avoid trying to fix all misbehavior by um, since negative attention can make things worse. So instead, we focuses on more to the positive behavior. Next, we have approach student privately. So because public display of misbehavior like behavior chart or data walls do not improve conduct, but instead we escalate it. We also have prioritize relationship building, where we do not simply demand compliance, which is often result in rebellion or power struggle, but instead we use proactive strategies like giving a positive greeting at the door and co-creating classroom norms to build and maintain strong relationship. And lastly, we also have reflect on implicit biases, where some research suggests that teachers sometimes treat students unequally. So instead of doing that, teacher must should regularly review their discipline measure and reflect on their own biases to ensure a fair treatment amongst the student. And the last element is giving oral and written feedback. So the first sample for this element is a video titled Effective Feedback Animation from AITSL that explain that effective feedback is a powerful and expensive way to significantly improve student learning and teacher practice. So research from the video has shown that effective feedback can improve student learning by as much as 8 months. So what is defined as feedback? So feedback is actually an ongoing process that involves goal setting, gathering evidence about student learning, and providing instruction on the next action that need for improvement. It can be given by the teacher, peers, or the student themselves. So uh, there are many benefits of feedback that this video listed. Like first, for student, it can increase effort and outcome that lead for more effective learning strategies and improve student self-regulation. And as for teacher, it provide valuable evidence about the impact of their teaching, which help them understand where to adapt strategies to better meet student needs. So my second sample for giving oral and written feedback is from a video titled Oral and Written Feedback with Teacher Linda by Bling Abi C. So it emphasizes the importance of targeted and effectively delivered feedback in the language learning, covering the big five: why, who, when, what, and how to give feedback. So why we give feedback? We give feedback to help students to grow and develop themselves, especially in the English language learning context, where learners provided corrective information and positive information through feedback. So research confirmed that the targeted and effectively delivered feedback also often increase language learning outcomes. So for oral feedback, there are two types of feedback for in this case, which is oral feedback and written feedback. Oral feedback often what we give to verbally, and written feedback is in a written form. So the most important part of written feedback is to help students to improve and uh, improve themselves constantly over time. Next, we move on to how does all the sample that touch on each of the elements that we have listened to, which is giving instruction, classroom questioning strategies, managing behavior, and giving an oral and written feedback, are relevant with the Malaysia classroom. So first we have the giving instruction element. So, in Malaysia classroom, whether in urban or rural, it often include a mixed professional learner. So, teacher, their job is to give instruction clearly, step by step, and sometimes using gesture or visual, which is what all of the sample have talked about. So, this collected sample teach strategies like ICQs, which is instruction checking question, modeling and sequencing technique that emphasize in CEFR aligned lesson and school-based assessment, which is PBS, or also known as Pentaksiran Berasaskan Sekolah. So, many Malaysian students are often shy to ask when they don't understand the lesson. Thus, using a clear instruction technique, it could help reduce the pupils' confusion and keep the lesson running smoothly. And in fact, all of the sample also align with the teaching practice requirement in the TESL program and also practical evaluation rubrics. Next, we have the classroom questioning strategy. So, in the context of Malaysia classroom, Malaysia education now has promoted higher order thinking skill, which is HOTS, or kemahiran berfikir aras tinggi, in its educational system, which is part of the KSSR and KSSM syllabus. Good questioning often encourage a deeper thinking among the learner. So, questioning strategy could help teacher to involve all learner, especially those who are typically quiet or afraid to answer in English, to be more involved in the group or classroom activity that the teacher have done. So the technique like wait time, probing, and also scaffolding fits Malaysia move toward a student-centered learning. And it also support pentaksiran bilik darjah, school-based assessment, where teacher can assess their understanding through a spoken responses. Okay, the next one we have the third element, which is managing behavior. So all the sample from the managing behavior has touched about Malaysia classroom, about how we can manage a behavior. So in the Malaysia classroom context, in a Malaysia classroom, it can be a large classroom, which is from the people will range from 30 to 40 learners, which require teacher to use a strong routine, transition, and also behavioral strategies to make sure they can manage each student behavior. So young learner in Malaysia respond well to positive reinforcement, routines and visual cues practices, which is highlighted from the collected samples that I have shown you. So these resources are aligned with the local concern, which is mixed prophecy classes and high energy classes, and also students from a diverse background, which is meet all the learners differentiated background. It also helps teachers to implement pentaksiran bilik darjah, school-based assessment, and maintain a productive environment where language learning can happen consistently and simultaneously in a classroom, which also match with the Ministry of Education focuses on 21st century classroom skill. There are especially classroom management for an active learning environment. So for my last element is giving oral and written feedback. So in the context of Malaysia classroom, Malaysia English lesson under the CEFR stress feedback that is constructive, timely, and comprehensible. And all the sample video has touched on this, that feedback must always be constructive, timely, and also comprehensible. So materials teach what to say, and when giving feedback are useful in Malaysia, where teacher must balance between correcting errors and also maintaining the students confidence. It support the pentaksiran bilik darjah school-based assessment, which often relies more on formative feedback than exam. And it also help teacher to guide students in speaking and writing tasks, especially during First, module-based writing lesson. Second, speaking performance checks. And third, reading comprehension discussion. And it is practical for both high proficiency and low proficiency learner in Malaysia school for them to receive a good oral and written feedback. So that is the end of my explanation about my all the sample I have collected in my e-portfolio. Thank you for watching. Bye.